Hey you guys, it's been like forever since I've done a video, and the biggest reason is because I totally changed my studio around and I have this awesome cool desk that's kind of an L shape in my room, so I'm not against a wall anymore, which is really good. It feels great to not be looking at a wall, but that makes mounting a camera difficult without drilling into ceilings and having these very, I don't know, Mission Impossible style maneuverings to make everything work. But I tried something new today, so we're going to see if it works. And I wanted to do a tag with you guys that I cut from my Silhouette and show you some of the new things that I just got and some old stuff too. I'm working with Faber-Castell right now to do some guest spots, and so I thought it'd be fun to play with some fun Faber-Castell stuff and show you how to use it in some different ways. And also there will be a giveaway, so I thought maybe I should show some of the things that I'll be giving away. Alright, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tag that I cut from the Silhouette, and I just used a regular ready-made tag. I didn't cut anything special. I just laid it on my Silhouette mat and laid out where I wanted it and then cut. And so I have the rest, the negative, that I'll use later on another project. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take this gelato, and it is, what color is it? It's pink. Who knows what color it is? I don't know, it's gorgeous. And I'm just going to kind of rough on a little bit of color and then mist it with water. I'm kind of heavy with my water. Just rub it with your finger, and this is just to lay some kind of basic color down. And you can add some more, make it as dark as you want. And in the end, you're really not going to see this like a whole lot, so don't worry about what it really looks like. There's also these aqua colors by Lyra that are really good. I like them just as much, but for like more detail work where you really want to draw. So like if I'm working on an art journal page or something that I want to sketch out what I'm doing, I'll use these because they have a nicer tip. Whereas if I want to just fill in an area, I'll use my gelatos. And a little bit more color. This looks like a vomity mess right now. And then we'll let that dry, and then we'll do some misting over it with some fun stuff. Alright, so now that it's dry, I was going to do some stenciling first, but I think what I'll do is go around with one of my Stampers Big Brush pens and kind of define the letters. Hopefully I don't shake the bejesus out of the camera to where you can't see anything. Or vomit. Vomiting would be bad too. So see how that kind of adds just a little bit more depth to it, kind of outlines the letters. And since it's, well, it's not totally dry, it's still got some moisture to it. It kind of holds the ink and lets you manipulate it a little bit before it totally sets, which is good. And I'm using my finger. Some people have a total aversion against that. If you don't want to, Mod Podge makes these really cool little finger caps that are just to keep your finger from getting all gluey, which are really cool. You could use one of those and rub it in. These are one of my favorite things right now. There are times when I like to be messy and I don't care, and then there are times when I'm really finicky about getting my fingers dirty. So if I'm that way, I figure other people are that way too. Okay, almost done. Okay, so I just ordered this chevron mask from Studio Calico. I ordered it from Jiffy's. And then I have a few mists from Studio Calico, but I just got this Buttercup one, and it's so pretty. But we're going to use white because it's easier. And you can do your masks a lot of different ways, your stencils a lot of different ways, but I mean the easiest way is just to lay it down and it fits perfectly, but I like it to be oriented the right way. So I'm just going to lay it down right here, and then because it doesn't fit totally, you just have to plan ahead with your design and know that either you're going to be okay with seeing this line where the stencil ends, or you're going to have something that covers it up so you don't see it, or you kind of know that when you spray it, your spray is going to end before it hits the line, if that makes any sense. So just plan ahead a little bit, and then just give it, hello. Ideally, you're going to be spritzing, but if you're my spritzer, there we go. You may not be. Okay, and then lift this off. You can see a little bit better. So I gave it this like pretty little gradient, so it hid all of the more like liney edged parts of the pink, and now it just looks like there's a bigger gradient from the plane of the tag from the original. So I'm going to set that aside to dry, and then I'm going to play a little bit with the negative that we cut earlier from the silhouette. So I'm going to use one of these Project Life cards with Vicki Higgins, which are really, really handy. And I'm just going to take the letters, toss them down, and we'll just do this in little bits and pieces too. Maybe it'll be, you know what it'll be. We'll get it oriented there. So if you're playing with me, you could be doing this. We'll get it laid down there. And then I'm going to take, this is Dewy, Mr. Huey's. Spray some of that on there. Dry it. And hopefully all of you who are doing this have done this before, and you know what tools that you love and which ones you use all the time. But if you don't and you've never used this heat tool by Ranger, it is the best one. I used to have the old purple like Marvy embossing heat gun, and I thought it was perfectly fine. And then my mom got this one a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago now, and it was like the first, I don't know, at the time it felt expensive to buy the $25 heat tool, but now it's like, okay, I need 3 of these. I just love it. So if you haven't tried this one, find somebody that has it and try it out, because the difference between this one and any of the other ones I've used is pretty phenomenal. I hear the Stampin' Up! One's pretty good too, though. I haven't tried that one. So then when you take them off, you're left with this really cute little love stencil, and you can save these. You could spray these with the Mod Podge spray and then keep them and use them later as little templates or stencils or masks, whatever, but they'll come in handy, so don't ever just throw away your negatives when you cut something. The other thing you can do too is with this stencil that we sprayed, you can just turn it over, lay it down, give it some pressure, and hopefully it hasn't dried already. It's a little bit dry. So if you want to reactivate it, take a little water, mist it on, and then lay it back down. Give it some pressure. Hopefully that works for us. And it gives you a little bit of pattern. Add some texture to your paper, and then you're not totally wasting everything. Alright, so now I want to add some kind of distressing around the outside, also to darken it up a little bit. And I'm going to use this Inca Gold from Viva Decor. They actually just got picked up by Creative Imagination, so it's called Viva Color now. And they're going to have a whole lot of different products that Mara Johnson is kind of the head of. So definitely be on the lookout for that. That should be really exciting. I really like Inca Gold, and it comes in a huge variety of colors. This is called Graphite, and mine's old, so it gets a little bit dried out. And to reactivate, I just spritz some water in there. And it's like sort of a paste, but it's this really intense color, and I just put it on my finger. But again, if you're feeling anal, put it on a piece of foam or something like that, or makeup sponge. And it's intended to be applied to any like non-porous surface that you want to get really good coverage and blend, and you can blend the colors together. It's really amazing stuff. but it's like an instant adhere. It just sticks immediately. It's sort of like, the only thing I can compare it to would be like a leafing pen or something like that, where the color just is there. It's super metallic and pretty. It just goes on really, really easily. I really like to use it. And you could also use this in, like, on over a stencil or something. If you wanted to do that, it would work really well for that. You can thin it out with water. It just depends on the texture you're going for. Obviously, the drier it is, the more sort of gritty it's going to appear, and the wetter you get it, the more it's going to be fluid and creamy looking. So get some of that smeared on there. And then you can go kind of in with the love and darken it up a little bit if you want. The whole point of this for me is to sort of distress things at Age, make them look kind of dingy. So I like that look. Alright. Alright, I'm still not totally satisfied with with the edges, and I want them to be darker. So I'm just going to take a StazOn ink pad, this is jet black, and just kind of hit the ends or the edges with the pad itself. You don't need to use an applicator or sponge or anything like that. I just go right onto it. This just sort of darkens the edges. Alright, so now I just want to add some color behind the love. So I'm going to use this sort of, I don't know what kind of paper it is. It's transparent with this blue print on it. It's sort of like fabric, but I'm just going to cut a little piece that fits the back of it, and then flip it over. And my favorite glue is hot glue, but for this purpose, I really like these glue pens, and they work very well. And I just go around, and you have to work kind of quickly because it dries pretty quick. Just go around the edges of it and then lay it down and smoosh. And then you've got this really cute teal background. Alright, I'm going to put some gloss medium on because I want to create a really slick, non-porous surface to do some other techniques to it. So I just used, I used this gloss multi-medium by Ranger, and just put on a little bit, and then I just use my finger, and then go over it until you get a nice solid surface. And this just kind of, I don't know, it just seals everything up, keeps the color where you want it, and then you can go over it with other mediums and paints and all kinds of stuff. Alright, so we let that dry, and then we're going to come back and use some rub-ons and some stamps and way more stuff than you need to add to this kind of a project, but we're going to do it anyway. Alright, so now that the tag is totally dry, we're going to use some stamps. And I love this little set that I got. It's like a $1 set from Studio G. I think I got it at Michael's or something like that. So I'm going to take some jet black StazOn. And you can use archival inks as well. I think StazOn the Archive will work the best for this because they adhere so well to a non-porous surface. So then I'm just going to stamp a little heart in there. And then I also want to use some kind of random dots, just kind of to come off the edge. And they don't have to be perfect by any means. And just a few here and there. And that's good. Okay, so those are stamps. And now I want to use some rub-ons, and these are, I love these. These are from Kaisercraft. It's called the After 5 Collection Quotes, and they just have these really adorable little quotes on them that work really well. Anybody who's used Kaisercraft rub-ons knows how awesome they are. And they're all about love and happiness and family, and so I'm just going to grab a couple from here that I like. How about something short? how about live, laugh, and instead of rubbing on the love, I'll leave that part off since it's already on there. Guess I need something to rub it on, don't I? And ideally, it would come off as smoothly as I've said that it will. Okay. Oh. Taking you on a magical shaking journey. Okay, almost done, I swear. And generally they come off perfect when you're on a nice smooth surface, which obviously we're not because we've brushed and done all kinds of stuff to it. But I kind of think it's charming when it's not perfect too. So live, laugh, love. And I'm just going to use one because it's such a small tag. We don't need very many of them. And now I want to put some scrunchy coloring papers and laces on the side just to, you can't see the line where we sprayed. If you look really hard you can, but I also think it'll add some fun color to the tag. So we might as well, right? So I'm just going to cut a little piece, and if I could find a glue. My planning in my studio is not so hot. My glue and supplies drawer is right next to my butt, and trying to open anything right next to my butt never works. And just leave that there. And then maybe take another little strip of that blue we used earlier. And this is pretty small, so I'm going to use some liquid glue. And just a couple little dots will keep it down. We don't need it super, super strong. And this is really just so that the color kind of shines through what we're going to show in a minute. Then I'm going to show some of these adorable Hambly overlays. And who is so depressed that Hambly is gone? Oh, that makes me sad. And just give it a quick staple. And this looks really messy. You can trim it up however you want. Like, we're done with the papers, so I'm just going to come back in and cut the edges. And it hangs over, and I like that, so I'm going to keep it like that. And then I'm going to take some, I've got a bunch of these extra little snippets of lace and trim and things. And these are actually all from Webster's Pages, and they have the best trims. I really like this one. It's sort of feminine and pretty. And then maybe we'll bring in some orange. And then maybe that could be kind of cute. Just cut a little piece of this guy. Alright, so the last little bit of stuff I'm going to do is just to take some like embellishments, actual embellishments, and I cut a piece of this corrugated chipboard into a heart. I'm going to stick that down. And then I used a Jenny Bolin little bow, which is so cute. And that's just going to go off to the side. Just really simple. And then I'm going to use, this is an Indian ink pen, and it's perfect for going over non-porous surfaces. It's actually a check writing pen. So it's waterproof. It's intended to not ever bleed or do anything. And I'm just gonna go around the edges of my letters, kind of rough them up, give them some distressiness. And we're just about finished. I'm gonna add a little bit of natural twine through the hole in the tag, and then I'm through. I have this little distressed tag, and you can use it for just about anything. I would use it on a page or on a mini album or something like that, not necessarily on a gift, though on a gift it would be really cool, and whoever got it would feel really special. So here we go. It's our little tag. La la la. And maybe even add a little bit of definition around this heart. Exciting it up a little bit. So here we go. All right, there's our tag. We are done. Bye, guys.